Good morning, friends and members of Gitanjali Express family. As most of you know, I am Neeraj Maheshwari, President at Gitanjali Express, and I am delighted to have all of you for this session on this warm Sunday morning. Friends, many of you might know that April 23 is celebrated as a World Book and Copyright Day, and on this day, festivities are held around the world to acknowledge the importance of knowledge through books, which act as a link between the past and the present, a bridge between across generations, and also a window into other cultures. What could be a better day to have Mr. Motilal Oswal, founder, MD, and CEO of Motilal Oswal Financial Services amongst us, who is an author to several books and whose philosophy is knowledge first. Welcome, Motilal ji, to this edition of AddaVantage, and it would be a real learning for all of us to learn from your learnings. Now, quickly talking about Gitanjali Express, which is a 350 plus members community, a platform of chartered accountants from Calcutta, Eastern India, who are now settled in Mumbai. AddaVantage, as we have coined it, is an event hosted by Gitanjali Express, which provides a platform for CAs and industry experts to showcase their skills, knowledge, and expertise. The event is designed to bring together CAs and members across the community, giving them an opportunity to network, learn, and share their experiences. Friends, you must also be aware that we recently started a CA scholarship program under the name of Kautilya. And I'm very happy to share with all of you that this year in the November 22 term, we awarded scholarship to 5 students from Eastern India, who all come from a background where they could not afford to come to Bombay and do their studies and articleship trainings. We are also happy to tell you that 4 out of those 5 students have been admitted in RVG hostel, and 1 has obtained a private accommodation in a PG accommodation in Goregaon. It is also proud to tell you that 3 out of those 5 students are girl students, which also shows the power of India's girl power. Friends, with this, I will request Ravi ji to take forward this session. Welcome, Motilal ji, and we will have, I'm sure we'll have a great session and a great learning for all of us. Over to you, Ravi ji.
Friends, the year was 1962. A boy was born in a grain merchant family in Birbar district of Rajasthan. The parents named him Moti, and they sent a message to the universe that they want him to become a pearl of India. Fast forward to 1983, room number 205, a student's hostel, Rajasthan Vidyarthi Grah, Andheri West, Mumbai. In this small room number 205, this boy dared to dream big. And actually he was doing chartered accountancy, but writing history. He wrote one of the most remarkable story of India financial services industry. I am talking about Mr. Motilal Oswal, and he's going to talk about 10 best learnings of his life. I am Ravi Lalpuria, and I'm going to be the moderator of this AddaVantage. We could have asked him to talk about investments, share market, world economy, but we wanted this program to be a multi-bagger for all of us. That's why we requested him. Please talk about 10 of your best learnings. And that is what he's going to do. So 60 years will be rolled into 60 minutes. That is going to be remarkable. So let us listen to the from the man himself, the one and only one, iconic Motilal Oswal. Over to you, sir.
Namaskar दोस्तों, and thank you Ravi ji and all the members of the, I would say, super fast Gitanjali Express.
Hello, Ravi sir.
It's a fantastic kind
Hello,
of,
Moti
I
sir.
would say, networking platform. And when Raviji told me that I must come and share my thoughts and ideas, I thought it will be an honor and of course pleasure. And he was always after my life to make sure that I am here. And I'm here. So first, the good news is that Raviji, I become the grandfather yesterday. So
Oh,
that's
congratulations.
a pleasure in life. And still, I thought that I wanted to go to the hospital, but I said, this is my commitment, so I must be here and then I'll go there. Yeah. So interesting and always pleasure to be with CA fraternity, CA friends. That's that CA, I would say fraternity is very, very dear to my heart. ये दिल का रिश्ता है. And whatever kind of, I would say, success I got because of course, my parents' efforts, their hard work, their blessings, and then whatever kind of education I've got since, as Aviji said, that since my birth, I have studied in Rajasthan up to graduation in Hindi medium में. Okay, so that was tough. जब मैं बम्बई आया तो CA करने के लिए, I think the only option was to do CA in English at that point of time. बाद में हिंदी आया, but it was tough. But I think the life is all about fighting about whatever situation you are put into, and then we get best out of that. So I think top 10 learnings of life. Of course, every day you learn, and that's the only thing I ask myself every day in the night when I sleep. That have I learned something today? Am I better than what I was yesterday? Because there's no benchmark, there's no kind of limits to what you can learn, and I think it's a continuous process. If you stop learning, then you stop growing. That's what I believe in, and I spend a lot of time on learning every day. I think my day start at 4 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so I read, I meditate, I exercise in the morning. That's the kind of routine I have. I would say for last 35 years, without fail. I would walk or exercise at least 360 out of 365 days. Wherever I am, I would make sure that I exercise, I do my meditation, and I read. Those are the simple habits I do every day between 4 a.m. or maybe 3:30, sometimes 3:30 to 7:30, except if I'm on the flight. So coming back, I think the first learning is the knowledge. What I already shared, that the power of knowledge is infinite, and knowledge itself is multi-bagger. What Raviji said, and there is kind of I would say there are a huge number of unknown things, and you always have to have the curiosity, and I would say the right attitude, and what you think you need to know about any ideas or practices or knowledge or products which can help you in your professional life. Because there's a lot of, when it comes to knowledge, there's a lot of unrelated stuff. When you go to social media, there are a lot of frictions, a lot of kind of different kind of books which I don't read, but I try to make sure that whatever is relevant in my life, what I need to learn so that I can become, I would say, a bit more wiser than what I was yesterday. And I think you learn by doing CA that I think a lot of kind of, I think, hard things also you have to learn. And when it comes to business also, especially our business, financial services business, investing into research and knowledge has really helped us as an organization. Because we are invested disproportionately in equity research, especially Ramdev's background was in equity research, my promoter, co-promoter. And he had a lot of passion about, we both are CA, there's a connection. Me and Ramdev both had met in the same hostel, Rajasthan Vidyadhikara in Mumbai. That's the kind of connection I have with him. And we started our career together in '87. and happy and proud to say that that partnership remain like a family. It's become very, very stronger in last 37 years. And I think one is of course the power of research, and second thing is also really aligning with the right kind of people who have knowledge, because knowledge is one thing we differentiate in not only our business but everywhere. And human beings are differentiated more on knowledge and experiences rather than their kind of gender or their family background. Short term it may happen, but in long term, end of the day, you get differentiated by what kind of knowledge and experiences you have versus others. So that's my first learning. Very simple few learnings. Second thing is that hard work, मेहनत हम लोग बोलते हैं कि मेहनत 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 कड़ी मेहनत. So we are all as chartered accountants, and of course coming from Rajasthan, Rajasthanis are hardwired to do hard work. So मेहनत और ईमानदारी. That's the third thing. That the power of ethics, the power of values, these are very, very important, and that's where the organizations which move forward and which bring longevity would be the power of ethics. And in short term, you may go to shortcuts, but I've seen in long term, the organizations who pursue values and ethics, they are actually differentiated. They move far, far ahead in long term. And I think that's what we have been practicing from day one, whether it is in terms of having the right kind of transparencies in the system, the value-based practices, paying the government taxes, absolutely full honest, with full honesty. And this is what really matters in business, what we have been practicing. So mehnat, imandari, knowledge, these are, I would say, the basic three learnings which have really, really helped me in shaping my career. And look, if I have to look at my life in hindsight. The fourth thing I would like to share is you should also know not only what to do, but what not to do. Because life shows you a lot of kind of, I think, ideas and opportunities, which really I think you keep kind of sometimes get tempted to. Arey, wo ye kar raha hai, apna ko bhi ye karna chahiye, blah, blah, blah. A lot of things, I think, but you need to be very, very clear about what not to do. And when we started our career from day one, me and Ramdev, we said that few things we will not do, apart from ethics, what I've talked about. Two more things we will not do. First is the speculation, okay, because we saw the people, when I look back, who started our career, they were much kind of bigger and stronger than us, because we had no family background or any kind of connections in the stock market. But people were kind of, I think, going into a lot of speculation. And that's where they lost the race. So we thought that we will not speculate in our own account. Our business is, of course, I think, helping or doing broking with clients who want to do speculation, but we will not do and we will not encourage. Many friends, they ask me, "Arey, aaj kya karna hai?" I always discourage them, "Ki boss, tum speculation mat karo, tum satta mat karo." I think it doesn't work in life. Sometimes it may work, but it doesn't work. So never speculate. That was the principle which we decided. And second thing was that never leverage. Don't leverage yourself. When we started, right now we made leverage, but we have very, very clear leverage guidelines in terms of that equity issue, because some of the businesses which we are in require some kind of leverage, but we have set very strict limits. But in the beginning, we never borrowed any money from anywhere. Because in financial markets, in many businesses, when people borrow, or in real estate, or I think many businesses, when you really borrow and then market go against you, or some of your larger costs go wrong, you're out of business or you become bankrupt. So there's few things which we decided from day one that what not to do. So any ethics compromises, no speculation, and no leverage. These are the things we decided from day one, and that really I think we have still been working to make sure that we don't speculate and we don't. Now from zero leverage to very, very limited or very calculated kind of leverage is what we should do in our businesses. And that's why we always keep looking at this quality of balance sheet, size of balance sheet, and how much leverage we can do for our customers, and whatever kind of, I think, business requirement the leverage. So that's one learning. One thing really I think which also is very, very important, of course you learn, and I have learned through reading, that the power of remain positive in this world. Okay. You can go kind of, I think, negative every day. Huge number of things are happening here and there, and a lot of people keep gossiping about. A lot of people, they're blaming the circumstances, they're blaming the situations, they're blaming other people, they blame their own luck. But I think the important part is remain positive, despite you change, you face many challenges, you face many adversities, and in our market, we have seen the markets really, I think, going for serious kind of falls or volatilities. So you need to remain positive. You remain kind of optimistic about your future, about your life, and that's what really, I think, give you some booster in the morning. Come on, especially when the markets are tough, or when you're going through some tough situation, and all of us go through a lot of tough situations, or tough time, or even tough relationships. So how do you remain optimistic and positive about things will change, and you keep working even harder in those kind of situations? So that's very, very important, and have faith about the future. एक चीज सब बोलते हैं कि at least in this kind of negative world, your most of the media headlines are also very, very negative, and they scare you when you open your TV, or when you look at the newspapers. Their job is to kind of make you scared, and that's what really, I think, will differentiate the winners versus the losers. That don't listen to them, don't listen to naysayers, don't listen to the people who thinks that world is coming to an end. But I think you just make sure that you remain focused on your longer term objectives. I've seen in 192 the markets crashing, and I've seen 4 cycles where the markets have crashed in a big way, but we remain optimistic, and we kept kind of investing into the business. So one of my favorite kind of learning is that become, or saying to our people is, become better in bad time, so that you can become bigger in good time. Because there will be bad time, there will be bad markets, there will be tough situation in life, but try to become better by utilizing those circumstances, so that when the time turns good, you become much bigger. So we keep investing. When the markets become bad, we keep investing into people, technologies, brand, training. Of course, you become very, very choosy when really, I think, you have to take some kind of call on the future, because markets or the business may remain bad for not only 1 year, 2 years, but 3 years or 4 years also. And we have seen in the past. But once you are optimistic and you feel that your future is going to be exciting, then you remain committed to your longer term objectives. So keep becoming better and better and better, and that will make you bigger and bigger and bigger in business or in life. That's what I have learned by practicing that. The next thing I would like to share is how do you prioritize? Because everybody has limited energy and limited time, and you still need to prioritize that. Every day you need to spend some time in your reading, in your exercising, in taking care of your families and close kind of relationships. And then you also need to do justice to your longer term objectives, as well as your shorter term kind of crisis or challenges coming on day-to-day balance. So this is what I would say, balancing between your longer term objectives and your shorter term kind of challenges. So I, at least at my end, and as well as at senior people, we keep prioritizing that what are our high impact areas. We call it high impact areas for us to really focus upon. So how do you make sure that at least 75 to 80% of your energy go into high impact areas, and remain 20, there will be shorter term situations but your next week and next month, then you will keep moving forward or keep moving ahead on that. So at least keep your to-do list ready, in which are the focus areas, which are the priorities, and which are the kind of, I think, low priorities or urgent things. I think it's balancing between your important things and urgent things. That's your time management side. It becomes tough on some days, but if you keep working hard, I would say that 75 to 80% of your time you will be kind of able to spend your long-term objectives, so that you don't kind of left behind in a very cutthroat competitive areas or competitive environments. So that's another learning. Then what I would like to say that when it comes to business, you got two stakeholders, and how do you balance your kind of time and priorities and interest between your customers and your employees. Okay, so these are the two biggest stakeholders for you. Now, when it comes to customers, we all know how demanding the customers are, how volatile and how kind of, I would say, competitive environment is. So how do you listen to your customers? How do you bring out with the best kind of, I think, advice, research, products, and many kind of, I would say, new products, processes, technologies, experiences, innovation. So keep listening to them, keep looking at what's happening not only in your business but in other businesses around in the global markets. So I think it's very important that your customers has to be absolutely on top of your agenda. And second thing is that your employees, because if you don't have great employees, if your team is not good, then who is going to take care of your employees? So it is always said that your happy employees definitely will have happy customers, but you cannot have unhappy employees and happy customers. You can't have that. So I think first priority is your employees, so that you have right kind of people with you who work and are aligned with your philosophy, aligned with your kind of values, aligned with your passion, and then really I think ultimately things are taken care of. So we love, when it comes to people, we love people who think and act like owners, like entrepreneurs, who have high energy, who values, who share our values, and who have learning mindset as well as growth mindset. Both learning mindset as well as growth mindset is very important for the people. So I think today we may be having about 11,000 plus people, but when we started, we were two kind of owners and one office boy. But we kept on looking at the right kind of people whom we kind of think like partners, like our own family members, treat them well, understand their passion, give them the freedom. And most of the people, they shine and they really, I think, look at absolutely growing the businesses. So these two stakeholders are absolutely very important from the business perspective, and make sure that maximum time goes into, I think, managing those two stakeholders. Then I would say that how do we remain in this kind of complicated world? How we remain simple and humble? Both are different things, but simplicity in terms of products, in terms of processes, in terms of your own lifestyle, it is very important so that you remain grounded. Otherwise, a lot of times people talk about a lot of concepts, a lot of technical jargons. They bring in a lot of complicated products, but somewhere I think you're not able to connect to the masses. So just keep simplifying those concepts and things, and make sure that you really remain to the core or to the basics. That is very important. And humility is very important, because I think when you connect with people, it is important that you don't show your ego, you don't show your success, or the success should not go to your head. That's what I personally believe in. And the last thing I would like to share is the kind of what kind of contribution you make for the whole ecosystem, which have helped you in growing. I've been one of the biggest kind of beneficiary of the educational institutions which are created by the society, by the community, and hence I think that it is important that we give something back to the society. And there's a value in, I would say, there's a power in giving. You feel a lot of satisfaction when you work with communities, when you work with societies, when you work with kind of governments in many crises what we have seen. So some kind of efforts has got to be given to make sure that you give something back to the society, where the society is giving you so much, but at least what you give will be, I would say, very small amount of kind of benefit what you have got from the society. So this is what really I think we have been kind of working to make sure our foundation, through our many activities, we try to at least give something back to the society, because that's the root or that's the fabric from really we all have come up. So I think this was some of the learnings which I have got through doing, through practicing, through interacting with more people, through reading, through looking at some of the great successful people whom I admire, by reading through their biographies, by interacting with them, by looking at their success stories, by interacting at many levels, and you become kind of a bit wiser than what you were there yesterday or maybe day before. So that's it, Raviji, to just sum it up, your 10 kind of things or 10 learnings. I talked about hard work, I talked about ethics, I talked about clarity about what not to do. I talked about the power of optimism or the power of positive. I talked about the learning mindset, the hunger for knowledge. I talked about how really you can keep becoming better and better and better so that you keep becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. I talked about how do you prioritize or how do you define your high impact areas. I talked about managing the two biggest stakeholders, your employees and your customers. Talked about the humility, the simplicity, and I talked about give it back something to the society. So that's really, I think, I would say I've been very lucky and privileged. God is very kind. I'm a blessed person, and thanks to the efforts being put in by my parents and by the society in me, and that has really, I think, helped me a lot when I wanted them. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Motilal. What a great learning, and I think all our members will be really following a lot of advice which you have given today. Now, may I ask you one question? Like, who is your hero in your life?
I think, see, there's no kind of one particular hero. I just keep looking at what I can learn from anybody, from Steve Jobs to Nayan Murthy to Azim Premji to Ramdev Agrawal. Many people, I think, are just making. I just try to pick up some threads from the people's successes and try to see what I can learn from it, and then what I can adapt in my life.
Okay, a lot of heroes in your life. So I've got many requests from members. I'll take one by one the names of all those who have given me the names. May I request Sachin Bharatia, our founding chairman of Gitanjali, to ask a question to Motilal. Sachin.
Thank you, Raviji. Motilal, it's a great honor to be asking this question. I have been following your journey from the beginning, the day I came to Bombay. In fact, I was thinking of becoming a sub-broker, and I happened to visit your office. And then somebody in your office said, instead of becoming a sub-broker and going back to Bombay, stay in Bombay, and the visit to your Motilal office there, in the Running Point office, MO office, changed the life. One thing that I have seen very closely, sir, you have been, in fact, you've been the earliest one in the financial industry otherwise to sort of, make, employ your stakeholders. And when you talked about, managing the two most important stakeholders, which is the customer and the employee, you have actually, given ESOPs, you made them partner. And those days, it was not so common. What prompted you? How you thought about it? And what has been your experience and learning from that?
No, I think it is very important that you have the right kind of team with you. And how do you kind of hire the best talent? How do you retain them? And how do you keep them engaged on day-to-day basis? Because people have a lot of options today. So we as an organization have to make sure that we become you can say, the great place to work here, where people feel pride and people feel kind of empowerment. People want to have the fair practices being done. So that comes out of, I would say, the belief in the power of people and the belief in engaging with them so that they become the very strong pillar for your growth. And I think people have got three basic needs when they want to work with you or with anybody else. And it starts with financial needs, but it doesn't end with financial needs. So of course, I think any relationship begin on kind of understanding the people's strength, and then really I think working out the financial needs. But that doesn't itself sustain. So I think emotional needs are much important than financial needs after certain age. In the beginning, of course, at the beginning of your career, people are too much kind of, I think, thinking about the financial aspect. But once you become stable, once you go through one or two jobs, then you want really, I think that, am I really, I think, being engaged emotionally? So I feel that EQ is more important than IQ when it comes to working with people. You understood that? I think emotional quotient versus intelligence quotient. And end of the day, we are all human beings. Okay. And we are not rational many times. So it is important that emotionally we connect with them, we engage with them. And that's the apart from financial, the emotional need. They need appreciation, they need feedback, they need respect, they need kind of, I would say, right kind of values being pursued by the organization brand becomes very, very important for them. So that emotion part is very, very important. And the third thing is the growth. Okay. Do the people see growth in the company as well as in their role? Both. If the company is not growing, then I think people may feel that there's no growth for me. But sometimes the company may grow, but people can grow from one level to another. So you need to balance between all three needs: the financial needs, which is not only the cash component, but also maybe the ESOP part. So we have three kinds of compensation being decided. One is of course, the yearly payout, which is the fixed salary. Then the bonuses, which can be variable, which can be fixed. The third thing is the ESOP. So financial needs, emotional needs, and the growth needs. That's where you have to really balance when you want to become a great place to work.
Great. On that related question, sir, I remember reading somewhere when you hired Nirmalji of India Infoline, both you and Ramdevji thought about that this was not a break for Nirmalji, it was a break for Motilal Oswal as a firm. Can you, if you don't mind, and if like, when it's possible for you to spend, some time on sort of highlighting what was your approach, what prompted you to think such a sort of great step? Would love to learn from that. I think that's one of the defining moments of financial industry, which I follow honestly.
So I think there are a lot of examples. I can see Rakesh sitting here, Rakesh Soni. So there are a lot of people who have worked with us. First thing is we identify the talent, and we try to make sure that we get the talent which in many times they're better than us in some of the aspects, because you can't be good in everything. So we just keep looking at the talent where we are not good at, or they can contribute much more than what we can do. So look at the passion into the people and really, I think, give them the opportunities. So there'll be many of our people have become CEOs, or they have become heads of the organization or senior people, even within our firm. A chartered accountant, article clerk Ajay Menon, who joined us about 24 years back. He's now the MD of our largest business. That business does 2,000 crores worth of revenues. That business gives us 600 crores worth of profit. And that business manages about 8,000 people, the largest number of people. So, and he was just an auditor, actually. He was an article clerk doing our audit. So, end of the day, you just really, I think, and many times you go wrong also. It's not that every time it clicks. Many times you kind of hire people who don't fit into your culture, or they don't share your passion or values, or their aspiration may be very different. So sometimes it is trial and error, but you look at the spark, you look at the passion in the person, and really keep giving them the space. I think so. At my place, programmer had become the head of technology for the group. An article clerk has become the CEO or MD. A research analyst, Rajat Rajgaria from Kolkata, he joined as a banking analyst, and he's now the MD for managing two large businesses, investment banking as well as institutional equities.
Great.
So I think you identify those kind of people and give them space, freedom, reward them, recognize with them, treat them like friends. We're not bosses with them. They all are our colleagues.
Super. I appreciate, sir. In fact, I'll stop here by just saying that you have truly created an example of how to start as a firm, make it an organization which eventually becomes an institution. I think today when we look at you and Ramdevji, two of you, I think for centuries to come, it will remain as an institution to look for and look up to. So thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you, Sachin. Kapish Jain, Group CFO, IIFL. Kapish?
Sir, thank you very much, Ravi, for giving me this opportunity. So Sachin stole the question that I had. So Nirmal keeps talking about you guys because 94 he joined Motilal Oswal as head of research. Then he founded his own firm, and that's where his entrepreneurial journey started. So that's something which I keep hearing from him. The question that I have is between you and Ramdev ji, you guys have been there like ye dosti hum nahi todenge, ye safar to janmo ka chal raha hai. So I don't know, understand, how do you guys complement? How do you guys manage the entire show? Because you guys are two very different personalities. You are somebody who's far more on the, somebody who speaks less and acts more. Motilal ji, Ramdev ji, somebody who shows so much of passion and positivity and action when he talks. So it'd be very interesting to understand how both of you really have complemented in the entire journey and look so complete together.
When we started the business, Ramdev had a particular skill. He was a researcher. He was working for a research company called Adda Investments. They were only in equity research. And I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I wanted to build a business. I had few my two brothers who were actually doing some kind of investment job. So while doing the CA, really, I think, and then you figure out that CA practice is not a greater option. So let's build a business. So I had no specific skills, I would say that, but Ramdev had a very particular skill about research. So we both had complementary skills that let me look at the business building part and let him look at the research part, which is the advising, so which are the best stocks by understanding the companies and looking into many aspects. So he was a fantastic researcher. And I totally, I think, build my strengths, how to build business, get right kind of people, get right kind of, I would say, the trading expertise, that how do you buy stock, how do you sell stock. So I used to go to the trading floor and he used to sit in the office. So that's where we started, but we started with complementary skills. Both were not same, and no two human beings can be same. The issue is that how do you complement each other? How do you build on each other's strength? And you don't also try to find fault in each other. Everybody has a lot of kind of faults or weaknesses, But I think you need to build on each other's strengths rather than finding faults.
Thank you.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very insightful session, sir. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Manish Kangwal, President, Gulf Oil. Manish ji.
Thank you, Raviji. Good morning, sir. I think it's a
Hi, Manish.
privilege interacting with you again. And when I say again, I think 6-8 months ago, our Hinduja group organized a meeting with you and your top management in a closed door session. It was a great learning that time also. So, sir, you spoke about humility, and this is something which is spoken about, but I'm curious to understand, can it be inculcated? I mean, is there a subconscious, conscious way in which we can achieve that humility? Because when success comes, it goes to head. And how one should remain humble and humility should be? Is there a process behind it? Is something which will help maybe all of us how to remain humble and calm in the environment where money is everything?
I don't know the process, Manish, but actually the whole environment in which you live now, starting from your family, from your parents, from your friends, and then really, I think many times, I think when you also go through tough lessons in life, you also, when you reflect, I should not have spoken like this, or I should not have behaved like this. Or when you look at some of the people when you meet a lot of people, they're so nice, really very successful people. You go and really meet them, and they really give you respect. They give you warmth, and they give you a lot of their time. So you all kind of, I think, keep accumulating those kind of experiences by trial and error, and you feel that, yeah, at the end of the day, you got a limited time here. So there are, I think, a lot of people who can learn from them. So that attitude to learn from people, to work with people, and that also give you, I would say, some satisfaction that, boss, this thing is really what is built to your personality. So everybody really, I think, is wired differently. And I believe that at least power of humility is very, very important personality trait in, I would say, 90% of the successful people. There may be 10% of the people who may be arrogant and still successful, like Steve Jobs or many other people. But I think I believe in the power of humility.
No, sir, absolutely. I think, and a lot of retrospection needed internally, perhaps, to achieve that and consciously.
I've read a lot of biographies of the people, successful people. Yeah, so I think, as I said, that I found a huge number of people who were humble and who came from a very, very simple background. They remain humble even at the peak of their career. The challenge remains is, how do you remain humble when you become super successful? That's the biggest challenge, and many people really, I think, that's where they trips. And in fact, from there, even their downfall. I've seen people, highly successful people, and they become very arrogant. They don't listen to people. They misbehave people, and then that's where their fall starts.
Thank you, sir. I think that's a great learning how to keep introspecting oneself. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Now the Amit Agrawal, Group CFO Raymonds.
Yeah, thank you, Raviji and Motilal ji. Absolutely great insights. I think it's very, very helpful. What you told, things about honesty, hard work, and what not to do. I think many of us actually get on to what not to do. We make a list, but we eventually turn to out to be doing that. I'm asking a slightly different question, sir. Today, you are a first-gen entrepreneur. You build a massive business, very large and very focused. How did you manage truly a work-life balance at an early stage of your career when you were building this business? The family needs a lot of support, help. And I would like to understand, because in this Gitanjali group, we have got a lot of young entrepreneurs who are just building out. So would like to hear your thoughts. How do you find that right kind of a balance?
Yeah, that's tough, Amit. yeah, we all work very hard in the initial phase of our career, and that's where our personal life and the family life sometimes take a backseat. But you keep kind of reflecting, you keep thinking, and kind of keep reading about how to bring that balance. And many times you drift, but then if you have some reflection and then you keep thinking about that, then you will come back to that. So luckily, I have my exercise regime, which I've been following it. We have the family life, so kind of I think you just make sure that you give some enough time to them, not only your immediate family, but your whole family, with your kind of brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your friends. So it's tough in this kind of, I would say, cutthroat competition. But if you decide and if you set your priorities very, very clearly, I think it happens. Second thing is, I think since the career takes a lot of your time and priorities and mind share, how do you have the right kind of people who work with you? And how do you kind of, I think, leverage upon the power of delegation, effective delegation? And how to only kind of things. Many times you feel uncomfortable why give power or control to your people. But another person, many people, I think, do the mistakes also. So you keep questioning, have you done the right thing? But end of the day, you need to harness the people's power and give them freedom. They will do mistakes, tolerate them, train them, give them feedback. And that's where you build large organizations.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Well said. And I think this is also a very important learning that when you grow up in the organization hierarchy, I think delegation is an important aspect. No, really, thank you so much and wish you all the best.
Is Prakash Agarwal, Senior Director, India Rating. Prakash.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Hi.
Thank you, sir. Hello, sir. Always a delight interacting with you. I think what you said, these are 10 commandments of a successful, or I would say accomplished life. And you can probably put that in any aspect of life, not necessarily only the financial aspect. So my question is, you spoke about integrity, honesty, and I think it's successful. If you have to look at a thread for each of the successful business, probably those are the traits which kind of define those businesses. So nowadays, a lot of noises. The corporate governance word has become a big buzzword in many of the corporations and many of the companies. While it's acquired its own aura. When you look at the companies, you invest in many companies. You kind of look at many companies, and you have vast experience of looking at so many entrepreneurs. The tick marks are there, all there. I mean, all companies follow the rules which are defined by SEBI or which are defined by regulators and all. But how do you kind of go beyond those tick marks and believe that, the corporate governance, the way the businesses are done are in the right way? What do you actually look at that, sir?
I think you go into the spirit, okay, rather than the fine words or final language. So you must, I think, try to understand the fundamentals of governance. End of the day, as I said, if you are fair and transparent to your customers, if you are fair and transparent to your employees, and you pay taxes properly, I think most of the things falls in place. So it's the culture, it's a mindset, and also try to invest into those kind of checks and balances, which in short term, many times they become the speed breakers, but in long term, they really help you. So an entrepreneur always look at next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, rather than next quarter or next year. So I think it's in culture, it's in mindset, and also try to really, I think sometime in short term, you need to be willing to kind of face certain setbacks or invest for that. But that's what really, I think we or many successful companies look at that, and they overinvest in those kind of governance standards. In the stock market, what we call it the P multiples, which companies, what kind of businesses get higher P multiples. Okay, the companies with reputation, about the ethical practices, about the governance standards, about the transparencies, about the fairness. I think those are the companies which get kind of, I think, appreciated in life by the market, and they really are valued very, very highly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Ravi.
Thank you. Sanjay Agarwal, Senior Director, Care Rating.
Good morning, sir. Excellent insights. I would like to change the track to means along with the social and the emotional requirements. We professionals also fear the technology which is coming in. So technology is a wide sort of a topic which is disturbing all of us. So in terms of, let's say, your business or the businesses that you see around with the technology development, would we see more, say, disruption in disintermediation due to technology? Like, let's say, the investor gives stock exchange directly instead of using a Zerodha or a broking firm like yours. Just one of those examples. There could be many of such things. So how do you see that going ahead?
No, I think the power of technology is huge. That gives the scalability to the business. Okay. So I think there are many levers in the business. Like, of course, the technology is very, very powerful and multiply to the business. But say for a brand, okay, I talk about people and training them. But I think the people, the brand, the technologies, they're the big levers for your business growth. So you have to really, I think, invest. You have no option except not to invest in them. Today, we are more a technology company than a kind of, I think, say, wealth management or the brokerage or asset management. We are a technology company. We have about 650 people full-time working with us, apart from working with many vendors. So 650 people out of 11,000 people are our full-time technology employees, and maybe directly, indirectly, maybe 1,000 plus people who may be working with vendors who may be dedicated for us. So I think and just look at the size of opportunity. We used to do 5 trades, 10 trades. When we started every day, 5 or 10 trades. Many days, 0 trades because the markets were so bad. But today, we do 2 million transactions, 2.5 million transactions a day. So it's only possible because of the technology. And technology, of course, also have a lot of disruptions. Like many days, you see, last 3 years, we must have at least one day we lost in trading at our end. But many other players, big players, have failed many times. So you keep investing into the best of the technology and, in fact, over-investing into them. So it's very, very important, I think, as a lever, and they bring disruptions. I think, brings a lot of changes. You need to be, I would say, flexible to adopt the best of the technologies. That's very, very important lever for our business. And if I see in last 30 years, the people who could not adjust to the new technologies, I think they are nowhere to be seen. So I think you said rightly that if you adopt the technology to your advantage, I think that becomes a big lever for growth.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sangeeta Junjunwala, Dubai.
थैंक यू रवि जी सो मच. नमस्कार मोतीलाल जी. मैं हिंदी में बोलना चाहूंगी. अभी तक हमने सबको इंग्लिश में सुना, लेकिन आपने जब शुरुआत की थी तब आपने बताया आपने हिंदी में पढ़ाई की थी, इसलिए मैं हिंदी में बात करना चाहूंगी. और मेरे ख्याल से सभी को हिंदी बहुत अच्छे से आती है. तो एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बात आपने कही मोतीलाल जी कि आप EQ को बहुत महत्व देते हैं IQ के बजाय. तो मैंने पढ़ाई CA की थी, उसके बाद मैंने काम भी किया 10 साल तक. उसके बाद मैंने बैक सीट लिया एंड अभी मैं पढ़ाती हूँ. तो अगर मैं यंग बच्चों को बिजनेस पढ़ा रही हूँ और मुझे उनसे बात करनी है IQ वर्सेस EQ, तो एक यंग बच्चे को आप कैसे समझाएंगे कि भाई एनालाइज, लॉजिक, रीजनिंग कैन ऑल्सो बी सपोर्टेड विद EQ? अगर आपके पास कोई एक उपाय है तो आई वुड लव टू लिसन टू दैट.
नहीं, आई थिंक इसका कोई ऐसा उपाय नहीं है. As I said that there's a difference between a computer and a human being, right? Computer is fully, you can say, IQ, while we are a balance between IQ and UQ. Okay, and human, see, fundamentally, hum log, I think we want to connect with people. You're not in isolated world in organization or as any profession or in families. So I think we need to teach the people that it is not that, and ऐसा मैंने नहीं बोला कि भाई IQ is not important.
No.
Okay.
ऐसा नहीं बोला. You of course emphasize.
No
but you
important है, but when I look at leaders, I've seen huge amount of intelligent people. When they go to medium and senior level, they fail miserably because they are highly intelligent, but they don't look at the people aspect. So managing the large organizations, especially at mid-level and senior level, of course, your intelligence has take you there. If you are not intelligent, you will not really, I think, move up. But once you move up and then you want to move further, then it is very important that you manage the emotional part very well so that you can align with the right people. People have to work with you, right? And it has to be what I call it 720 degree. पहले बोलते थे कि चलो अभी बहुत जैसा बोला वैसे कर लो. It used to be just kind of, I think, one level. Okay. Then it came कि यार चलो boss के साथ आपके sorry, your subordinates, your bosses have to, I think, like you. पहले ऐसा लगता नहीं है कि तुम्हारे जो subordinate है उनको भी आपको समझना है. They also should respect you. They should also, I think, be kind of, I think, happy with you. So first you make your boss happy, then you say that you make your subordinates also happy, then you say that your kind of, I think, peers, your colleagues, who have control directly, indirectly, but you work with them. With most of the projects, you work with people who come from different organizations or different levels. So that becomes 360 degree. Then you say that you also have to work with customers, your kind of, I think, business partners, your regulators, your associations. So you have to be good in 720 degree, and for that you have to be fantastic in working with people. And that's where I think you require a lot of emotional skills.
इसको मैं एक और क्वेश्चन से जोड़ना चाहूंगी, if I have time. Sorry, if I'm not eating into others' time. So women, when it comes to women at work, why I'm linking it, I have been seeing so many people talking. This is the first woman who is talking to you on this forum. And I'm sure there are other chartered accountants on this group. But so many of the women drop out because of whatever reasons, whether it's family, whether it's career of their husbands. Organizations कैसे support कर सकती हैं जब women एक critical point पे drop out करती हैं from career because other goals become more important to them. And the Indian setting, the way it is, where parenting as a major role, women take up because they have probably seen that being done in their houses.
Yep.
So how can organizations support these kind of women who have a high IQ, who have a high EQ, and in the future, maybe they can be a bigger asset to the organization if they are able to phase out that critical part in their lives?
Yeah, बहुत अच्छा point आपने raise किया है. In our organization, we have 27% women, but when we look at the lowest or the, I think, few low level, there'll be about 40%. But higher you go, I think the women percentage comes down drastically at the senior level and mid level, and that may be, I think, reasons which you said rightly, the social kind of, I think, the families, the social ecosystem, I think. The kind of way you bring up the kids. So I think the social fabric demands that women have multiple priorities at different point of time. And we have to, I think, accept the fact. But let me tell you that I have seen women very, very high on EQ part compared to the men. So the women leaders are actually, once they go through their family kind of, I think, responsibilities, and at some point of time, I find women adds a lot of value, and they bring different kind of skills and complement it to the needs of the business. So it is important, but I think in India, we are far behind compared to global standards in terms of bringing up the women with whatever kind of, I think, constraints we have here. Because see, organization become many times short-term orientation and selfish, and we know that women will take break. Women have a lot of other kind of responsibilities. They will take more leave, and that's where I think somewhere they get a bit kind of low priority compared to the men. So, and I've seen the organization have realized that need, and a lot of organizations, including ours, are working. Like, see, look at our business. Say private equity business. There are very few women, but Vishal took a private equity MD, where Rakesh also has worked. He took the challenge that was, let me try to get at least good women at the top level. And I think he worked and he brought in at least 5 to 6 women at medium to senior level. So you need to put in some extra efforts, and that requires, I would say, efforts, confidence, conviction, and sometimes it impacts your shorter term goals or performances. But I think you invest and then you reap the rewards in medium to long term.
Okay, so all the best to you, sir.
And the last
Nice.
question from Vinay Sraf, practicing lawyer and a chartered accountant.
Thank you, Raviji, for this opportunity. It's a privilege to be speaking to Motilal, sir. Sir, I want to ask you a question from the perspective of the growing up childs who are on the crossroads of choosing their careers. Now, artificial intelligence is going to take over a lot of aspects of our work. And it is being said that they will replace human in several aspects of the career choices. So what is your view on that? Like, what are the aspects of the career path which you think will be replaced by artificial intelligence, and where it is going to add value to our area of work?
There's a difference between intelligence and artificial intelligence, right? Human beings, we have intelligence, and I think we build the intelligence into the system, into the technologies, and that brings, of course, scalability. But I think a lot of routine works. Okay, and you've seen a lot of routine works actually, say routine surgeries, they're being done now remotely by the systems, or the roles like say your driverless car, or you have the kind of, I think, robots who work like secretaries, or who kind of, I think, bring kind of, I would say, efficiencies. You got ChatGPT, which brings its own kind of, I think, revolution in this world. So it is important that we leverage upon the power of research and technologies to make our life better, simpler, faster, cheaper. So those are the tools. In any case, I think human beings really, I think, utilize to kind of, I think, leverage upon the various opportunities which is there. But I think no amount of I would say that the human beings who have the balance between intelligence and emotions can't be copied by them. They are emotionless. So when you have to have dinner, but you would like to have your dinner, okay, or to have kind of good friends, you have your own kind of relationships, you learn from other people, and you also, I think, human beings are only building those kind of artificial intelligence kind of things. So routine works will suffer a lot, but then you keep innovating, you keep kind of, I think, reinventing, you keeping bringing kind of I would say more and more tools to make sure that you grow. So I think as a human being, there's a tremendous kind of, I think, disruption and challenges coming from the technologies, and that's where you need to keep challenging yourself. But I see the human power kind of, I think, immense, and the computers cannot kind of, I think, replace the humans in many aspects.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That was the last question. Now, thank you, Motilal ji.
Thank you.
First of all, congratulations on becoming grandfather.
Thank you,
and I will not hold you back. And I now invite our Vice President Pankaj Chitlangia to propose a vote of thanks.
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही पंकज जी? रवि जी को शौक है आवाज बंद करने का सामने वाले की। रवि जी ऐसा इतने जुल्म मत करो, है सामने वाले को बोलने का मौका दे दो।
मैंने नहीं किया सर, he is the host actually.
अच्छा, maybe कहीं I think somewhere he muted, or just look at your computer's volume level. नहीं आ रही आवाज।
पंकज जी एक बार डिस्कनेक्ट करके वापस कनेक्ट करिए, maybe things will get resorted.
Yeah, maybe Raviji, Neeraj can give word of thanks.
Yeah. So, Pankaj, I'll take it up. Thank you. So, Motilal ji, many thanks for giving us such valuable insight.
Absolutely my
और
pleasure.
आपने इतने important दिन हमारे पास आए और आप, I know you are very busy in your family, but still and a great insight for all of us. Today has been the biggest attendance since last 1 year. You know, more than 100 people have joined today on a Sunday morning when people have all the work in their family. So thank you a lot. Thanks a lot to you, and I thank all you members that who have come on Sunday to share this journey of Mr. Motilal, and we learned a lot from him. And now I'll give a digital memento to Motilal ji Oswal. So please show a digital memento on the screen. Yeah, thank you. So sir, I will send this memento to your office tomorrow. And thank you once again. And there is an announcement for all the members on 13th of May. We have a film director, Imtiaz Ali. There will be a physical AddaVantage at Nehru Center. Please join in. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.